Hello guys, so good morning. I'll try and explain both assignments in this video. So I normally like to work with a notepad to show what I want to do in any of my videos. So this is what we'll be doing. We'll start by creating our first assignment, which is to set up a Git. Set up Git on VS Code. So let's go ahead and do this. Now just let me open a new window on VS Code. So opening a new window on VS Code, you see a blank page with nothing. See a blank page with nothing. So here it is, there's nothing on this. Now when you look at this, there's nothing. You want to first of all create a folder. A folder is more like a place where you store something. Now in this case we are storing our code here, or our web pages. So let me create a folder. So I can create a folder on my downloads called my laptop is a bit slow, so let me call this upskill. So this is the folder. I select this. Automatically the window refreshes and we have that folder open. And if you check your terminal, you discover your terminal is showing that particular address, that particular location in your browser, in your Explorer. So now the first thing to do, like they said, we should configure our Git, configure our VS Code to use Git. Like I told you guys, first approach is to make sure you have Git installed on your system. So let's go to Google. Go to Google and Google. So you type Git. Just type Git download. For Windows, I'm using Windows, so this is it. So you can download this. You download. Come on. Let me open it. So you follow up, you download the particular version that is needed on your phone. You can download for Windows, download and install. Once you've installed this, voila, you understand. If I go ahead and download this, I already have it on my system, so there's no need wasting my data to download this. So just download and install it. Once you've installed it, you can open your command prompt by saying Ctrl R, Windows R, then you type cmd. So when you type cmd, check git version --version. So when you type this, did you see that I have Git installed already and it's version 2.45 blah blah blah. So I have this installed, so I can exit my command prompt, my terminal. So I've done this. Git is installed, but it is not connected to my VS Code. It's connected, but currently in this project I'm assuming it's not connected to my VS Code. So the first thing I do is to say git config. So I'm configuring globally. There's global, that means in my whole system it should take up this. So username dot name, then I put it in quotation mark. I call it Timothy Ignatius. Can put Agbo. So but let me just go with Timothy Ignatius. So you can see that it's saying what is it saying. So I say global user, I'm supposed to give a space, pardon me. So let me clear this, let's do it again. Git, let's do it again. So we say git config -- global, then space user dot name, then you type your name, Timothy Ignatius, close my quotation, enter. So we see that it has accepted this. So the next thing I do is git config global space user dot email, then I'm going to put my email, Timothy Ignatius @gmail.com. So I've done this. Now that I'm done with this, so to check that my git is configured, I can say git config, then the list of my config. So when I type this, I'm going to see my configuration. This is my git configuration. This is it. Sorry. Oh. This is my git configuration. If I type enter, I'm seeing my username Timothy Ignatius, my email -- so okay, so this one is actually correct, I spelled it wrongly. So but this is what I actually need, my username and my email. So now that I'm done with this, I can press Q to quit. So now I'm done with this. Now I can even do git status to check if my git is properly configured. So if you check, there's no git repository. This is when you are working with a git repository. So but for now, we can see currently that we don't have a git repo on this our project, but we know that we've configured our git. To have our git repo, we can actually say git init, but I think they said we should just configure our this thing to use git to configure it to use git. So to initialize a git repo, you can just say git init, and with this you already have a git repo. So if I say git status now, I have a git in my project. You may not see it here because normally you may not see this git folder here because normally it is hidden, you understand, but it's within here, but you may not see it. So you've done assignment 1, done. My name is error. So assignment 1 is done. So the next thing we have to do is to create our basic HTML page. So the first thing, you see that I'm already having a folder, so I can create a file. Click on this, create a file. I can call this index.html or whatever I want to call it. So this is what I start with. So normally you use your shortcut key shift then your 1 to create a dummy HTML code. You see, this is an extension that helps you do this. So I've been able to create a dummy HTML code. Now with this, or you type all these things, so you know what all these things mean. So let me not bore you guys with it. So the first thing in your body, so I normally like to create something like this that I work with. So in my body, I want to style my body and I want to give it a text. I want to style it using this style. So all I just need to do is to copy this. Please pardon me, I don't have so style this my body. I'm using inline style, so pardon me for using that. So I copy all this my style to save time and the MB to upload all these things to you. I copy all this and I paste here. So I've created a style for this body, an inline style. So the next thing I want to do is to create a header. A header, just like any other page that you have, a header is just like where the title of your page is. So in my header, and it's usually inside your body. So header, I can actually use my IntelliSense to write header. So when I write header, enter, it creates it automatically for me. So I told you I'm using inline style. Since this is just a basic tutorial, not to stress us more, so I will just copy my style that I've created here, copy them, copy this, Ctrl C, and paste it within here. I don't want to waste that time. So I've created a style. What is inside my header? A H1 tag with a margin and a text. So I created a H1 tag with a margin of 0. So H1 with a text. What did I put inside? I said welcome to my page. So within here I can write welcome to my page. I've done that. So if you launch this, you are going to see, oh sorry, some of these things. Pardon me, there's supposed to be a hashtag here. Sorry, there's supposed to be an hyphen here. Hyphen here. Sorry. Hyphen here. So this is the style for my body. So this also, please pardon me, hyphen here. Hyphen here. So now if I launch this, I'm using what is called an extension. If you check here, there is something called a live server. Sorry, extension. I'm using live server to help me to load my page on a server. So I installed this called live server, helping me to load my page. So all I can just do is to right click on this and go to open with live server. So when I open this with live server, you can see my page, can't you? So this is my page. So let me split my screen so that you can see what I'm doing here. so that you can see what I'm doing here. So sorry. So you've created your header. You've created your header and your body with a background color of this, and you created this with also this. Please let me put this. So if did you see that once I put my hash, the background color is showing? So I've created my header. The next thing I can do is to go ahead from what I'm working with to create a section. So a section with margin 20 pixels. So I'm creating a section with margin 20 pixels. So this is supposed to be inside my border, so but outside the header. So section, just type your section, you click enter to automatically create. So I'm using inline CSS just for explanation. So margin with what, 20 pixels. So you can actually, so the truth of it is that all these things, they have what they do, you understand. For now, I don't know if you know what margin is. So there's what they have, their representation. So probably we will not spend much time explaining that, but let me just go ahead to say we have a paragraph, 2 paragraphs. I'm working with 2 paragraphs here. One paragraph have this text. So let me copy the text I'm using here. So I'm creating a paragraph in my session, p tag. So with this text here, so you can see this. We'll add the styling later on. So the next paragraph, I have another paragraph with this text. Don't mind me. So with this text here, so you can see this. So now they are styling. You can add styling to this. For me, this is the styling I'm using. Pardon me. Let me use this styling for my P1. This is the styling I'm using. So this margin is the space that I gave from this to this 20 pixel. So I add a style inside here also, and I give this. So please put hyphen. I actually removed it. So if you put it, you are seeing font size, font color, and for the color, put hash in front of this. So you can see this. So I've given a color to this. Now the next thing we could do is to, from what I've created, I've done this side, this section. I created an image. I'm using an image, and this is the style I'm using for my image. Copy my style. So just come, your image, the way I created the image is that it is outside my section. So img, enter. So the source of your image, where are you storing this image? Are you using it from a web link or whatever? So but for now, let me add this. Okay, so where are we storing this image? So I go now and I import an image here. I can use it here, or I use an image from wherever I want to use image from. So I would just like us to just start with simple one. So I'm going to copy an image from let's see, from this. I'll copy an image from this and I'll use this image. So let me say control. So I can just minimize. So let me copy this image, use it here. So I've pasted this image here. If it loads, you see the image. So this is the image, and I want to use this image here. So on my source, I could just say dot slash, then I use the image. Now you see it's appearing here. but the width is too big, so I can actually put an inline and I say width of 300. So did you see it's smaller, or let's make it 500. So I can actually change this email. If I don't want this image, I can pick another image from my system. It's all up to you, whatever image you want to use. So let me look for an image from my system. Is there any wonderful image? Okay, let me pick this. So okay, I've added another image. So if I don't want this image, I could actually just go back, edit this name, slash, then I pick this image. You see, if you check now, it's loaded. I could make this 1000, it will be bigger. I could reduce the size to, let's say, 600, and it's smaller now. We've done this. Now the next thing we could do is to add a style, other style to this image, and these are the style I just added. So I added a border. So please pardon me, I added the display that it should be block. Okay, since I've added this, I add this in a style. There's no need to add this other style. So I add a display that this should display as block. Look at it. Then I add a width of 400 pixels, margin of 0, auto border 2 pixels, and the color solid, and a padding of 5 pixels. You may not fully understand what I've done just now, so I think this should be, as we progress, you understand better. But for now, let's work with what we have. Let me just bring them down a bit to soften everything. So this is it. So this is the style I added to this image that makes it looks this good. So from now, the next thing I'm doing is to use an unordered list. There is what is called ordered and unordered list. So an ordered list, this is it, and an unordered list. So I'm going to use unordered list. To use an unordered list, just come, I'm using it outside the image. So after your image, unordered list, so I can create, so I want to create like multiple tags, let's say ×3. So I can use that shortcut to create that. So I created a multiple tag. The first text, the first thing of this text is called home. I'm using home, so I can create this one called the home. The next one is called the about, the list. Now the second list is called the about, and the third one I'm working with, okay, I'm working with 2, sorry, so there is no need for this. So you can see these 2. Now the next thing I did was to add a style. I added a style to the list. I added a style to the unordered list. Copy this style. Let's go. So here I can see style. I'm told you I'm using inline CSS, so don't mind me. It may not be as pretty. So what I've added. So this is it. Don't mind me. You now start effecting. You see it, I brought it to the middle. So text style, I said none. So list, this text style is, pardon me, none. I just did. So to remove any style that this comes with. So the next thing I'm doing is to say I'm adding a style to the list, just the list. So I'm adding a style to that list individually. So this is just basic. There are some things that I'm actually doing here that is not professionally accepted. So we just convey the meaning, since we are, as most of us are beginners here, so let me not go too far. So okay, so with that, now the next thing, I created the same for the second tag, same style. So like I said, the same style, copy and paste this, add this to this. So you see now this is now in line with this, so it's displayed in line. So that's just the style. Now I've created this. So the next thing I can go ahead to do is to create my decoration. So I actually, after this, I created an anchor tag. So I'm supposed to add an anchor tag inside this, and this is where my home will be. So same thing, I cut this, add an anchor tag. So add an anchor tag, and I paste this here, and this is where my about will be. So for this same thing, I copy this, I copy, paste it here. So I copy this whole, copy it, come here, paste this here, then I change this to contact. So you see we have a contact now. So I'm done with this. Pardon me with some of the mistake I did. So now we are done with this, and our anchor tag, we can actually change the styling for each of them. We are just doing basic stuff, so it may not be necessary. So the styling for my tag, I put this text decoration, please comma here, and make sure to push an hash here. So I've changed the styling for this, the color. So I could copy the same thing I applied to this, apply it to all the anchor tag. So this is basic. So let's note there are some things that, so you see that we change all their colors. So this is it. So the next thing we can go ahead to do is to create a footer. You know, every web page has a footer. So a footer with this style, most web page has footer. So after our unordered list, then we create a footer, F-O-T. So let me give it a style. This is style, this style, or this style, this, and you need to put your top and all that. So you can put your, you can see. So I want to put the text within the footer, so a paragraph, I put this within my footer. So I'm going to put a paragraph within the footer, the tag, and this is the content of the paragraph. So you can see that there is something here. And I think this is what we'll be working with. This is what we are working with. So this is like a basic HTML page. So we didn't add link and all that, so they just want something basic, at least beautiful and basic. So this is it. You can try this. I may have to paste the code. I'll paste the code to you guys so that you can see what I did. So thank you very much and God bless you.